Hey everybody, welcome back to Enjoying Retirement. Today we are at Mendenhall Glacier outside Juneau, Alaska, and my wife and I hiked all 5 of the hikes here so that we could give you a review. So stay tuned. We're going to go through each hike. I'm going to show you what you can expect to see, how difficult it might be or not, and whether it's worth going. Here's a hint. One of them is not, but we're going to start with the Photo Point Trail. This is a must-see hike. It is very short, about a third of a mile walk out, and it is on very well-maintained gravel, and it is just absolutely stunning. Enjoy the scenery as you get there. And this is one of the best spots, there's only a couple, where you can actually see the glacier itself, as well as a great view of Nugget Falls. Hey, don't forget to take a look at this. Good interpretive signage. That is a large boulder moved by the glacier that has striations on it from the movement. And let's see why it's so beautiful. Even in the rain, it's gorgeous. Just be prepared for the weather because it can change up there. This is about the closest view you're going to get of the glacier, unless you take a kayak or a boat up to it. So there's the glacier, and there is Nugget Falls, and you can see an iceberg out there in Mendenhall Lake. Right in front of you is an island that is a tern sanctuary. It happens to be their nesting season now. All right, next trip is Nugget Falls Trail. This actually shoots off the Photo Point Trail, and it's about a 2-mile round trip. Again, it's a very easy walk. This also is, in my opinion, a must-see trail. It's pretty easy walking. The path is good, and it gives you your first real sense of being in a temperate rainforest. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But hey, enjoy the view as you walk there as much as getting to the falls themselves. Yeah, I'm a sucker for streams and bridges, so you're going to see a few of those along the way. All right, here's our first glimpse of the falls. One thing I do want to point out is there's a lot of unmarked trails as you walk up to it on the left-hand side. You can get away from crowds a little bit if you just branch off and walk along the shore. But wow, what a powerful fall. 377-foot fall. Hey, I couldn't help myself there. I just had to get in a little bit of artistic point of view. Boy, what power there is. You can see a person in the bottom right corner to give you a little bit of perspective. No, you really can't see the glacier from here. It's just that little tiny corner. So you got to make sure you hit Photo Point. All right, next one is Steep Creek Trail. This is a short half-mile trail. Some will call it a quarter mile. Well, if you look, that's because from about mid-July to mid-October, half of it is closed. But if you're there other times, you can walk the whole thing. The reason it's closed is this happens to be a salmon hatchery. And salmon will come up, and the salmon attract bears. So they don't want you walking out there amongst the bears. However, they do give you viewing platforms that we're going to see. This trail is the best marked trail in terms of signage. So, hey, if you only have a few minutes and you can't do anything else, make sure you walk this. It's a beautiful trail. You're in the woods, you get to see water, you get to see the steep creek, and you can read a lot about salmon history, the life of salmon, and how they come up there and spawn, and the interaction that they have with bears. If you are lucky enough to be there during spawning season, mid-July, mid-October, you may get a chance to watch bears feeding on the salmon in the stream. I think that would be a real up-close experience. But boy, it is beautiful. There's a offshoot of this where you can go out and visit a moraine. We did not do that. We stayed on the trail proper. Lots of blue columbine, lots of flowers in season. We were there at the end of June. Really good signage explaining the life of salmon, and this is a pretty good way to follow up or as a precursor to visiting the salmon hatchery. down by Juneau. Again, if you have time, maybe I'll show that in another video. Really nice walk, and signage again discussing how this creek plays habitat to a lot of life in the area. Okay, let's move on. Now we're going to hit the Trail of Time. They call this a mile loop. I think it's a little bit longer than that. Of course, there's a couple ways you can take it, but starting again from the loop down there by the visitor center, you walk up to the visitor center and then take the loop. And you can see you have a couple options as to where to go from there. That'll make it a little bit longer. Hey, here's a pro tip. If you go up to the visitor center and go right behind it, you get some of the best views of the glacier and the falls that you're going to find in the entire area. So if nothing else, make sure you get up to the visitor center and maybe 100 feet, 150 feet beyond it. Wonderful views. All right, so we're on the Trail of Time. We're going to give you some signage as to where the glacier was at certain points. We'll come back there in a moment. That's an offshoot to the next trail we're going to talk about. It's kind of hard to visualize the glacier having been here. It just doesn't seem to make sense. So I don't know if we're looking at the side of a glacier or where it was. It isn't explained very well. But in terms of getting a chance to really enjoy a temperate rainforest, this is awesome. Along the way, you're going to see the Civilian Conservation Corps hut that was built kind of as a wayside retreat, and it is still there. They mentioned a boulder behind it that has original markings of the Nugget Trail they used to go through there. Hey, I warned you, I'm a sucker for bridges and crossing over wild rivers. Love it. I think that is actually Steep Creek, the one that you'll see later on that was down below, that was much calmer. Boy, I love ferns and the dark greens of temperate rainforest. This just shows back in the day, this rock, some guy had the ingenuity and drilled it out and plumbed it. So folks back in the day could get a drink. Flat spot, yep. Back in the day when the glacier was much closer, this was the parking area. Now I like this one. Somebody ran a pipe all the way down from the headwaters down to a hydroelectric plant. And that was how they generated power for this area. Walking a little bit further, you'll come to an intersection that I showed on the map earlier. You can stay on the paved trail on the left or cut across, and it's still a very good trail. But at the end of it, you are rewarded with this beautiful view of the lake. And I just happened to get a few moments when it wasn't raining. Yep, did you see that? Bottom left, I'll do it in slow motion. Watch the fish jump. Yeah, just a bonus. Okay, now let's talk about our last trail, East Glacier. This is about a 3.5 mile loop, and it will take you the closest to the glacier you're going to get, and right above Nugget River. Spoiler alert, they say you save the best for last. That does not apply in this case. But hey, here's that view I was talking about the visitor center. All right, so we are going once again down there, but now we're going to take that fork off and go on the East Glacier loop. Again, it's a wonderful walk through the area. You get to see a lot of what a temperate rainforest looks like. A few more bridges. Love it. Hey, here's one of the viewpoints. Where's the glacier? There it is, that little tiny thing in the back corner. Well, I certainly hope it gets better than that. Hint, it doesn't. But you're walking over some more creeks and streams. I love that. And it is just beautiful. So if you want a good walk, you want to burn some calories, you want to sweat, go ahead and take this. Otherwise, I do not recommend spending your time on this trail. It's the longest. It'll take you a couple hours to do. Yeah, here's AJ Falls. That's pretty cool. I enjoyed seeing that. But, you know, if you're here on a cruise and you have very little time, don't bother taking this. Notice the switchbacks. there are a lot of switchbacks heading up this way. But it is beautiful. So don't get me wrong. I enjoy the country. I enjoy the area. But if you're pressed for time, there really is no reason to take this trail. Again, there's the view you get, and you can start hearing Nugget River, but this is as close as you are going to get. We're a mile and a half in, about halfway there. You can kind of see top left. That's a "You Are Here" sign. So now we're going to start walking away from Nugget Falls. And oh, scenic overlook. Okay, now this has to be good, right? We walked all this way. I can't wait to get out here and finally get a good view of both the falls and the glacier. Huh. Okay. Well, that is their scenic view. Mountains are beautiful. The edge of Mendenhall Lake is beautiful. Love the trees. No glacier, no falls. All right, as you continue on, we have replaced switchbacks with stairs. A whole lot of stairs. So depending upon the health of your knees, oh, hey, I got to give one go back. There is one spot on the way down where you get a really good view of the glacier if you can zoom in on it. But again, it is nowhere near as good as if you had went out to Photo Point, or quite frankly, that pavilion right there at the parking area gives you a real good view of the glacier. Okay, just a quick view of the visitor center. It seems to always be crowded. It's nice, gives you great views. All right, so in terms of hikes to do, Photo Point, number 1. Nugget Falls, number 2. Steep Creek is nice. If you're short on time, that's all you can do. Go for it. And I really do recommend the Trail of Time. Give you a real great idea of getting back into a temperate rainforest. East Glacier Loop, don't waste your time. If you've done some of the other walks, you've already seen anything and had a better view. Well, I hope that helps you out. Thanks for watching, and as always, I am enjoying retirement.